Hi, I'm Tai Chia, Head of International Sales at ULS Cambodia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends where you are and where you're logging on. And it's great to also see our international buyers, our current buyers who's also logged on. Like most of you, I think they are here to find out what is the business case and the fundamental behind ULS and ODOM market derived guaranteed rental return. Which offer a sustainable fixed income and clear exit strategy. I think this is what all investors want, income and clear exit strategy. ODOM and ULS have a solid foundation based on experience and a sensible and responsible approach to GRR. We are not fly-by-night developers. We are Cambodian founded and owned with strong track record. We're not financing a 45-story building through our GRR program. We're allocating a small portion so investors can come out at lower price and smaller spaces. But of course, if they want larger spaces up to whole floor, of course that's available as well. The product is solid and it's mixed use. Its mixed use nature provides several products for sale and also for lease. Obviously, those who are here today knows that the location itself is second to none. And it will be the price office location in the city of Phnom Penh as well. We've demonstrated we can do this with Rose Apple Square in Siem Reap, which we will cover a little bit later. And now we're providing GR and returns to many happy customers, and more importantly, repeat customer. I think one or two of those are joined online at the moment. Our GR program is only questionable only if it's built on a shaky foundation and is not underpinned by market demand. My case to you today is ODOM is solid and it serves a need of a changing and progressive Cambodia. Welcome everyone and thanks for joining today's discussion. If you're here, you're probably exploring smarter, more diversified ways to grow your investment, ideally safe, regular return. Today we explore a compelling market that is often overlooked but full of potential. Cambodia specifically, Phnom Penh, and right here on Norodom Boulevard. We'll show you how our product, ODOM, is built on a solid business foundation, a foundation that makes GR option a secure investment, both in immediate returns and creating appreciating asset over time, and perhaps outperforming the general market itself. Let's shift our perspective today. Today's conversation is not about buying a residential home, nor about buying office space that you may use for yourself. It's purely about an investment property into our strata title office. And what do all investors look for? Ultimately, not the furnishing, not the fixtures, not the fittings. We look for, I guess you guessed it, ROI. This includes rental income. You want dependable tenants providing regular cash flow. You want your investment to increase in value. This means it needs to be aligned with market demand. At the end, you want to be able to convert all this into a sale. You need to have confidence that the property will be desirable and your asset investment is highly liquid. And additionally, you want predictability and no headache. Secure smart investment reduces uncertainty. You don't want headaches with the property worrying about finding a tenant or vacancy. You want these things taken care of. You want confidence that the property will be well managed and payments are on time, day in, day out, year on year. This is where our guaranteed rental return comes in. It's a structure designed to reduce uncertainty and give you predictable income, especially when you invest in a market that you don't live in, you don't work in, or is foreign to you. But just so that we have a common definition of what and how GR works, let's start with the basic question. What exactly is the guaranteed rental return, better known as GR? In essence, it's a promise from the developer, that's from us, to pay you, the investor, that's you, a fixed return on your property, somewhere between 5%, 7%, 10%, maybe even 12%. But as we dwell deeper later on, it's important to understand how the number was derived. It's usually for a set number of years, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. And the return is calculated on percentage of the purchase price as well. It works much like a bank deposit, fixed term deposit. And it's one of the most reassuring tools for an investor. You get predictable income from day one, year on year. Fixed income regardless of occupancy. Let's look at some example. For example, an investor invests $200,000 in a property, whether it's residential, whether it's a commercial property. The developer offers 7% return over 5 years. During that time, the buyer does not have use of the property. The developer handles everything, regardless of whether there is an actual tenant. The investor gets their return, $14,000 a year, spread over 5 years. At the end of the period, the unit is handed back over to the investor, where they can continue to rent it out independently, utilize the unit themselves, or most likely try to sell the unit, hoping it has appreciated in value. This all sounds good, and it can be. The opposite could also be true. Sometimes when something is too good to be true, it is often is. So we must zoom in on the fundamentals. So what are the key fundamentals that we should look at for? Firstly, is the developer experience? Is this their first project? Is this their first GR program? Have they delivered on other projects as well? What portion of the project is under GR? Could it be over leveraged? Is it just a few floors, or are they doing the whole building to finance the construction? What about the project itself? Is it dependent entirely on one type of real estate, or is it diversified, mixed use? Is the quality high within the market? Will it be desirable when the GR period is over? Right? You want the same return after the guarantee period is over. And once again, are the returns too good to be true? All of these get at the underlying fundamentals of a project, and it will determine if the offer is solid or is it superficial. But at the end of the day, a GR is simply a promise that the developer believes in the product, the asset can perform, a promise that the underlying business foundation supports the GR. At ULS Cambodia, we've done the research, we've done the planning, we've done the analysis. We're actually very confident enough to take on the initial risk so that you don't have to. The reason we can confidently offer GR is that we and other like-minded developers have built a project designed to perform commercially, operationally, and financially. A guaranteed return is only as credible as the foundation it stands on, and that foundation must be product-based. The development must be in demand. The development must meet a need for the marketplace. And more importantly, it must be market-driven. So whatever rent that we're paying you, it must be market-based or close to it. Yep. With that, we want to share with you the Odom project and the GR offer for Odom Tower. You'll see how it's built on the foundation of solid business, experience, excellent product, underpinned by market demands. Located right where we sit on Norodom Boulevard is Odom Tower. It's a bold new addition to the city skyline, designed as a future-ready destination. Odom brings together business, lifestyle, hospitality, and sustainability all under the one roof. Norodom Boulevard is Phnom Penh's central commercial district, surrounded by high-profile institutions, embassies, and icon of the city, which is Independence Monument, I would say 800 meters away. We see Norodom Boulevard as a location poised to become Phnom Penh's version of Singapore Orchard Road or Sukhumvit in Bangkok. Odom's iconic design is second to none. Location alone will ensure long-term appreciation and a future landmark in Phnom Penh. But it's Odom's mixture of lifestyle, commercial, and residential elements that will guarantee constant demand from businesses, residents, and retail patrons. Odom is not a single or even two buildings. It is a complete ecosystem. Live, work, play, rest, recover, and rejuvenate. The 30-story residential tower, Odom Living, provides 138 exclusive private residences ranging from 1 bedroom at 78 square metres net to 4 bedroom to close to about 270, 280 square metres net, with 180-degree views to the Hudson River, the Mekong River. More than 40% of which are already sold, a trophy residence for many. The residents connect to the Odom Tower through a sky bridge 60 metres above the ground and share access to the 5 retail podium. Odom Square will host a curated selection of retail, food and beverage, lifestyle offerings, including future location of our flagship Suchaya bookstore. We are also recruiting retail partners seeking out unique business opportunity that will make their Cambodian debut at the Odom Square. And finally, we have Odom Tower, which hosts over 40,000 square metres of office space, IHG Hotel and Legacy Club, which will be the first of its kind in Cambodia, offering Cambodia's best exclusive access to 5-star restaurant, private bars, entertainment facility, and a range of amenities with panoramic city and river views. Anything and everything to pamper the international travellers and the movers and shakers of Phnom Penh. However, the amenities are only matched by the quality of the building. Odom is built to meet Singaporean Grade A standard, from fire safety to materials to MEP. Every detail has been considered to ensure Odom stands as proud in 50 years as the day that it's open. Our commitment to quality matches our commitment to sustainability. This is where we design for the requirements of LEED and now are LEED pre-certified. We are actively pursuing LEED full certification, ensuring high performance green building that supports both well-being and energy efficiency as well. We are proud to welcome IHG Vignette Collection to Odom Tower, making only its 2nd property in Cambodia. This globally celebrated brand brings a truly unique hospitality experience, defined by individuality and cultural authenticity. Odom, as with all ULS projects, is guided by strong environmental, social and governance values, ESG, that shape not just how we build, but how we impact our community within and the community that surrounds us. AI-powered destination control elevators and smart building technologies create seamless connection between living, working and retail environment. Grouping patches by destination for efficient vertical transportation as well. As mentioned, we offer over 40,000 square metres of strata title office space. This allows investors not just to be tenants, but to own that will be what I believe will be a landmark in Phnom Penh. A few things stand out for me in these images here. First is the design. Phnom Penh is beginning to give rise to some beautiful buildings, but Odom stands proudly different. The living and the tower contrast one another in both scales and material. The cutouts in the sky villages gives it its iconic shape. And finally, in a city that uses more, that could use more green space, Odom breathes. I need to breathe also. From the podium of the sky villages and the roof, we've incorporated close to 8,000 square metres of green space into the project, possibly the greenest development in the whole city. This is what we mean by iconic. In the future, we see visitors to Phnom Penh stopping by and looking at Odom. In fact, I believe it would make TripAdvisor top 10 things to do in Phnom Penh, not unlike many other beautiful, iconic buildings regionally. And we are yet to talk about the location. When we say prime location, we're talking about not just being in the city centre, it's about being where the action happens, where embassy, institution, top companies and iconic buildings establish themselves. This is where the city moves, grows, and creates lasting values and memories. I always say, I think you've heard it all before, Odom or Norodom is a match made in real estate heaven. There are many office buildings around Phnom Penh, as you can see, Flatiron, Vatana, Exchange Towers, Exchange Squares, of course Odom, but only a handful meet international Grade A standards, so these are the ones that are very close by. These set the benchmark for quality, design, functionality, making the most sought-after business address in the city. LEED certified building meets strict international standard for sustainability, efficiency and performance. Not only is the right thing to do, but they can also save energy costs for everyone in the long term, somewhere in the vicinity of 15 to 30%, based on most study on the advantages of green certified building. For global companies, green credentials aren't just a nice to have thing, but a prerequisite in setting up offices in this part of the world and part of their lease charter. Now, narrowing to both Grade A and LEED certified properties, we are down to only 2 buildings, right? Botana is also LEED certified as well as Odom. The Odom office tower meets international Grade A standard and is LEED Gold pre-certified, making it highly attractive to global tenants. Being international Grade A and benchmarking Singaporean standard, it means that even if we move Odom to Australia, Melbourne, where I'm from, to Tokyo, Japan, Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam, it will still be Grade A. Odom Tower offers strata title office spaces from 63 square metres to a whole floor, which is about 1,500 square metres net. This means that this future icon is not simply a rental property, but a chance for investors to be able to own a portion of an icon. It's a rare opportunity. It's akin to owning an MBS, a Petronas Tower, and a Mahanikon, all iconic buildings in their respective country of Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. For the local, a piece of Wat Nat Tower, which you all know you cannot own, but if you do buy, you can certainly be a neighbour to the owner of the building itself. But what's unique about Odom that is strata title, meaning it's freehold, meaning an investor can own part of this premium product, which is uncommon in Cambodia and also regionally as well. All of this sitting in the most prized location, blue chip location, where some of the wealthiest Cambodia either live or owns property along this street. And advice I always remember, they always say, follow the smart money. There's a lot of smart money on Norodom Boulevard. In short, Odom has it all. In a market where most projects offer 1 or 2 strengths, Odom brings them all together. We have 3 separate components that would create a vibrant space from early morning to late night. We are the only project that offers Grade A construction combined with LEED certification that is also strata title. From the quality and the amenities to the luxury residence and the IHG Hotel, Suchaya and curated retail space, there is no other project with the breadth and depth of Odom. This is the foundation we built the project on and why our GER is secure and deliverable. So let's talk about that. We've explained the traditional GER. We've shown you how Odom is set to become a landmark in the Phnom Penh skyline. Now we want to share how these 2 things come together. The guaranteed rental return, guaranteed buyback program are designed to give investors confidence, regular income, and peace of mind. But don't just take our words for it. Let's look at how ULS deliver our GER at our previous project, which is sold out now, at Roseapple Square. Roseapple Square is a ULS mixed-use development in Siem Reap. It's a community-driven project that combines residence, office, retail, and lifestyle, and it houses Siem Reap's biggest co-working and co-living space. It's also where we successfully delivered our first GER program. Our GER program at Roseapple Square started in 2023, and all 111 GER units are now fully sold out, as well as the rest of the project, which a total combines of 207 units. Like Odom, Roseapple Square is mixed use and combined residential, retail, office space, and even co-living space. Even with mixed use project, ULS believes that offering 100 of the units for GER is not ideal, but more importantly, it's not responsible. We want a foundation of long-term tenants who live in the space. For this reason, we offer just half of the units as GER, with the remainder being traditional condo sales. Furthermore, we still retain ownership right now of more than 70% of the development. Feedback from our investors has been positive, and the sale performance demonstrate this. So let me talk to you about John. John is probably represent a typical Roseapple Square buyer. John's background, he's Australian. He sits on a board of a listed company. That company builds a data center in Australia for Google and for a very big company. And John's reason for investing in our GR and for investing with ULS really touched me. And this, I just want to give you a snapshot. An investment can be strictly economic, which is return and capital gains, but I want an investment I could feel good about. And with ULS, I found that. So for me, that was nice. You know, it wasn't all about money. It was about helping the country grow and creating jobs. So for me, that's beautiful. But if you want to see the rest of the video, please, towards the end, there is a QR code that you can scan and it will take you to the video. So John's experience was not unique. Like John, many of our customers have become friends. Now I catch up with him and drink beers and so on. I think you want to be the kind of agents where you meet your customer in 2 years' time, you don't need to run away. You run to hug them, right? So he's become friends, repeat buy, and some of our buyers have been self-appointed spokesperson of our brand, values, and mission to build a better Cambodia, one community at a time. Rose Apple Square results speaks for themselves. All 111 GR units are sold, and all investors are currently receiving their rental return payments on time with late zero payment on time. This has set a precedent for how ULS approaches GR. First, offer a limited amount to ensure balance in the project. And just in case our prediction is wrong, allow for subsidy buffer. Subsidy buffer just in case that instead of getting $100 per week, we only got 70. We can draw income from other multiple retail space, office space, and so on. Secondly, make sure there are traditional buyers who will provide long-term community, which is really our focus. For us, each of our development, community is very important. And the only way you can have community are you have people who live at the property full-time or for a long time. Make the project both high quality and mixed use so that it will be highly sought after for a long period of time, ensuring the returns are sustainable as the market pick up, which it will, it always will, and it always does. So at Rose Apple Square, we offer GR and residential condo. With Odom, we're taking the same model but applying to something different. We are introducing GR for strata title office space. We have mentioned strata titles several times earlier, but to put it simply, think of them as office condo. This is commonly known as freehold ownership. Unlike residential property where you may need to fit out to rent, office fit out is the responsibility of the tenant, not the owner. Strata title offices are handed over, ready to build out and managed by the building management team. Office renters often seek longer periods, 3, 5 to 10 years, than residential renters. This means less turnover and less hassle for the owner. In the end, being the owner of a prime grade A office should be less work than residential unit with longer lease period, upkeep and responsibility of the tenant. And if and when tenant moves out, this space can be returned to its original state, ready for the needs of the next tenant. So what does the Odom Strata Office GR program look like? Now you notice that not all office unit at Odom comes with a guaranteed return, and that's mentioned previously, it is intentional. Only floors 7 to 14s are offering GR, which accounts for just 25% of the whole net sellable area at just 10,000 square meters. Previously, I mentioned subsidy buffer. In a situation where there is a shortfall in rent, we can lean on all of our other spaces that we still own and operate to subsidize the GR, just like our Rose Apple Square, drawing from our retail space, our hotel, our club, and many other lettable areas. In fact, under this program, it is possible to comfortably fund the GR program even if our building is only 50% occupied. We're providing early investors with a chance to enjoy stable, predictable returns while leaving the rest of the office space open to long-term occupiers and natural market growth. And for those GR units, here's what the offer actually looks like. So the GR period is for 5 years. Investors receive 8% net rental return guaranteed. This starts once the project is completed, handed over. Of course, full payment and not at the time of the purchase. And because this is a net return, there is no deduction, no management fees to think about, no insurance, no operational costs. What's promised is exactly what's land in the bank account. It's fixed and ideal for anyone looking for a low maintenance, high yield, a turnkey investment solution, so to speak. So that's the offer, 5 years, 8% net return, fixed and guaranteed. But let's break it down with some example. Let's use an example of a 300,000 investment or office space. You earn 8% net return every year, which translates to about 6,000 per quarter, so 6,000 every 3 months. Every year is 24,000, times that by 5 years is 120K. My maths is not really good, but I've read this so many times so I can sort of repeat it. As mentioned, there are no deductions and no management costs, so this is your actual net payment, the amount that gets transferred into your bank account. All this begins once the project is completed, giving you a predictable 40% ROI over 5 years without the usual headaches of property management. Now we've seen how the GR delivers predictable hassle-free return, but what if you also wanted to exit at the end of the 5 year? Because all investors ask me 2 questions. What's my ROI? And what's my exit strategy? So that's why we've got the GBB component to this as well. So not all developers offer GR offers a buyback option. So what is the buyback option? So basically, at the end of the 5 year period, there are a number of possibilities. The first thing is that year 3, year 4, you as the investor come and check out our dom, you check out how it's performed, you look at the occupancy, and you remember this seminar, and you think, wow, it's exactly how it turned out. I'm really happy. I'm happy with return. I can see further growth, so I'm going to keep it. Right? I'm going to enjoy the consistent return. So that's one option. The other option is that you saw a new opportunity, right? You paid a deposit, you secured a new development, you said, look, I want out. You give us 6 months written notice, and we pay you back plus 10% on top of the original purchase price. And the other third option, which is, well, I would always suggest, is to sell in the open market, because to me, and if you do the numbers, plus 10% over 5 years, it's not a premium. It's just a safety net. It's a hedge against inflation, right? So if you look at the return based on the NBC, National Bank of Cambodia, pre-COVID, over 10 years, prime property in Phnom Penh returned 8.7% year in, year out for 10 years. So if we conservatively say it's 5% per year, that's still plus 25%. So more than likely, you don't need to rely on us. We are just a parachute for you to pull if you need it, that's all. So this is a strong advantage. So this is a strong advantage for anyone who wants an investment with flexibility and, more importantly, certainty. You don't need to make this decision when you purchase, but the buyback option must be agreed 6 months prior to the GR expiration. As I said, GBB is essentially an added layer of security on top of your return. So let's put the GR and GBB together and let's look at the numbers side by side. So, same property, same amount. With the GR, you've already seen how 300K unit can generate 120K in income over 5 years, which equates to 40% return. Now add the GBB at the end of the 5 year period. Say we purchase back from you at the pre-agreed price. From 300,000, it becomes 330. So 330 plus 120, that's 450. And if you benchmark that against your original investment of 300, that's a 50% return. That's a fantastic return. That's a double-digit return every year over 5 years. It's very, very hard to find any kind of return like that. Before you think this is too good to be true, remember that earlier we said that our GER is ultimately a promise, and a promise is only as strong as the foundation that is built on. So let's review the foundation again, yeah? With the DOM, that foundation is clear. Limited GR allocation, level 7, level 14. Top tier product, mixed use income stream. So we have hotel, we have club, we have retail space, we have residential, many types of amenities. And proven developer records. This is not our first project. This is our 6th project. We've been in the game for more than 10 years, and we are a local company. We are here for the long run. We want to build nice and beautiful things for Cambodia. These elements together make the GER sustainable and, more importantly, market-driven. We've shown you the foundation, but what does that actually mean in specific numbers? Let's look at a model based on actual numbers. So 62 square meters, 5 years, 8%, 110. So the purchase price is 227. Let's round it off to 230. Each year you receive close to $20,000 in income. Yeah. We can share this deck with you. Those who are here and also online, we're happy to share with you. So if we combine the original purchase price with the income and the buyback, your initial investment of $230,000 that I'm rounding off will equate to close to about $350,000. Yeah. Pure and simple. Let's look at another sample, but I won't sort of talk over it, but just to give you an idea. 98 square meters, applying the same formula. Invest 369, you get 554 at year 5. Very clear and simple. Once again, 150, 580, turns to close to $1 million. Okay? If any bank, if any institution said to you that if you park my money and I'm going to show you this sort of set of returns, would you jump at it? I think the answer is pretty simple. But this is asset-backed with a property that is in prime location. It's a no-brainer. So these are the availability and allocation. In total, from I think close to 375, 124 units are allocated for GER, and the size range from 62 to 217 square meters, and price range from 230 to about $1 million for the bigger unit. Some have purchased whole floor, which is around about $4 million. That's a small unit in Singapore. It's about an hour away. The world's getting smaller. It might be 30 minutes away in 10 years, who knows? It's a big, big difference. But the thing is, you should note though, although there's 124, at least level 8, level 9, and level 13 are already sold. So in actual fact, only 40 units of 124 remains. So almost 70% has sold, 30% stock of the GER remain that is still available. So please, if you're sitting on the fence, if you're unsure, even after the seminar, please either talk to your preferred agency. You can call us directly, but you're going to get the same price anyway, so please speak to your preferred agent. So to summarize and to conclude before I hand it over to Kinkesa to speak more about the commercial market in Phnom Penh, let's summarize the ODOM advantage. With the fluctuation in today's global market, many investors are looking for stable, tangible asset. ODOM ticks the box. It is US denominated return. Freehold ownership available to any investor. An asset in the emerging market with a current GDP growth rate of over 6%. Passive, hands-off income without the operational hazard. ODOM offers an opportunity to diversify into Southeast Asia while keeping your income stable and predictable. And with ODOM GER, there is no need to find tenants and deal with agency. I deal with them every day. I know what it's like. It's not fun. I'm just joking. Or worry about hidden costs or expenses. You receive regular, predictable cash flow and no hassle, backed by a proven developer with a successful track record. So I had mentioned before, market-derived a few times, market-derived, market-driven. So our 8% was benchmarked against the CBRE report, which gave us not a very satisfactory 7%, but we appreciate the independency of the CBRE. They're always independent. Yeah. But this came before we had the IHG Hotel and also the Private Members Club, which bring in itself tremendous clout, and it adds value to the ODOM and its users. So if you look at some scenario, So as you can see, there is a slight shortfall. We promised 7%, remember? And CBRE only say, nah, you're only going to get 7%. We promised 8%, but CBRE said, nope, can't do 7%. That's fine. I think the business model that we apply to our GR program will comfortably cover this, even if we are wrong, right? But note this, $21.50 is the lowest rate. Right now, from my recollection, premium grade A office space is between 24 to 31, am I right? Depending on the market situation also. Yep. Like I said, but we feel we know our product better than anyone. And we believe so, because we put our heart and soul into this project. Odom is built for the new Cambodia and is built to perform post-2027 and beyond. Built for the Cambodia that deserves its place on the international stage. And our new 4F classification airport is now a gateway for even more international investors and travellers. Regardless, over the life of the GR program, we believe things will even out and that the market will align with our projection. Yep. Could Odom get the high end of the $23 to $31? I believe so. Every cent of it, I believe so. Regardless of the life of the GR program, we believe things will even out at the market. The market will align with our projection, justifying the value and the premium Odom offer and command. Keep going. Next. Oh, it's you. So I'm going to hand it over to Kim. Thank you very much. She's the expert in the commercial real estate market. Of course, CBRE is a global name. So please take over and you talk about things you know about more than I do. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, is it okay? Okay. I generally known to have very soft voice, so I have to double check. Okay, so Chum Rip Suwa, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone that's joining here in person and online. Really appreciate it. I know the traffic after raining is particularly not pleasant. So thank you for all of you to make it here today. And thank you, ULS team, and especially Mongti, for the opportunity for CBRE and myself specifically to share our insight on the Phnom Penh office market. So for those of you who meet me for the first time, my name is Kin Kesa Kim. I am the Managing Director of CBRE in Cambodia. As you know, CBRE is a real estate service provider. We provide the brokerage services from commercial to residential, industrial, research, consulting, valuation, and property management, quite a wide range of services, and we have had the pleasure of working with ULS across multiple projects. And recently, we had the pleasure of selling some of the last unit at Rosaport Square. Actually, my team just sold one this week, which was the last GRR unit at Rosaport Square as well. So it was just saying a lot about our confidence in the developer, and I'm very happy to be here today to share with you our independent opinion. Some of these slides and number may be not very pleasant for Mongti. He might not like it very much, but again, I hope that this is something that is educational for everyone. So I prepared this presentation coming in mind as thinking that a lot of the audience are first time to Phnom Penh or understanding about Phnom Penh market. So we'll start very basic with a quick snapshot of where we are in terms of the real estate market and the macroeconomic level. So currently in 2025, the GDP growth rate for Cambodia is predicted to be 4%. Again, this is actually comparing to the average last 10 years that Cambodia achieved before COVID time is relatively lower because we used to achieve average 7% per year. But this is a global headwinds. Everyone's seeing adjustment in growth rate everywhere. And actually Cambodia still present one of the higher growth rate as compared to the regional countries in Asia. As we track closely the investment into construction and real estate, we're seeing rebound in activities, particularly into the construction, and especially if we broke down into further component of this investment, we've seen that industrial has picked up the interest up to 3/4 of the investment actually going into industrial, which is very, very productive for developing market like Cambodia. And what you can assume next is the rise of commercial activity to support the development of industrial activity, which is very, again, productive and positive. International tourist arrival has seen some slow recovery on almost, although if I talk to most of the hospitality operator, they said it's still not recovering fast enough. And we're starting to see also the change in composition of these tourists in terms of the nationality, the direction, origin of arrivals, and so on. So we have seen that the current tourist arrival is actually a little bit more budgeted compared to the previous wave of tourists before 2019-20, where COVID started. However, again, this is an encouraging sign. Slowly recovery is still better than no recovery at all. To the real estate market, I won't touch on too detail in all the number. I only have 10 minutes, so I'm very mindful of time. But quickly on the commercial market, currently in 2025 half year, we've seen that the office occupancy stood an average 65%, and retail market is a little bit more compressed at 60% only. Prime rent. Sorry. I think James is very excited about all this data. Prime rent in both office and retail haven't changed much in the last 3 or 4 quarters, but we'll see more visible trend as we go further into the annual trends. In residential market and industrial market, things are relatively stable, although we have started to see some recovery in activity also. We have seen new launches this year. We have seen sales proceed. As I mentioned earlier, our residential team is doing better compared to last year. So these are anecdote, but some sign of recoveries. So as I said, I assume that most of the audience is first time a researcher or understanding of a Cambodian office market, particularly for Phnom Penh. So I've included this slide to look at some of the history of how we come about in the office market in Phnom Penh. So the slide here started from 2008, as you can see from the number projection that my team have put it. We started with very, very low base at just 78,000 square meter of office supply in the whole Phnom Penh market. If you remember, some of us probably still quite young at the time, but this was the year that most part of the world are suffering from the global financial crisis. Fast forward to 2014, we're starting to see the first Grade A office supply being completed, which was Wattana Tower at the time. And with that completion, the office supply in total have increased tremendously up to nearly 300,000, which is, again, if you look at, this is about 3 or 4-fold of the original supply in 2008. And then the second Grade A office complete in 2017 from Exchange Square, which was quite notable as well, as they were one of the first international developer to enter the commercial market in Cambodia. It just says so much about the rapid development between 2008 and 2017, how confident of developer has changed, and it's actually opened up to the new wave of supply that are what we call quality supply, because prior to that, a lot of international companies that already set up in Cambodia still couldn't find any quality office space to occupy. So before this time, you see international companies like Unilever, the MNC big name, are still occupying like villa as an office. So this is actually introducing option for these qualified international companies to reconsider more quality space and better working environment for their team that align with their global value. Now, I wouldn't go to every year, but in 2018 and 19, if we may stop here for a little bit, I think this is where things get really interesting. 2018 and 19 were where the office market in Phnom Penh saw the highest number of occupancy at 90%. Again, if you look at the backward, supply have grown by fivefold, but the occupancy were very strong. Again, we have seen a big wave of movement from villa occupier, shop house occupier, moving into formal office format. This is why we have seen a very strong performance in the office market. Rent was also gradually increased at the time. However, because this is a very, very attractive market, a lot of developers jumping into developing the commercial space during this time. I remember when I first joined CBRE in 2018, 19, and 20, some part of 20. I was most busy with office feasibility study because everyone just want to develop office. So as a result, this is plain why we see around 2023, 24, and then all the way to even until now, we're starting to see most of the completion, such as Morgan Tower, Stapana Tower, TIA Tower, even Chitmong Tower, both local and international developer entering more and more into the commercial space. Again, competition-wise for developer, it is introduced more competition, but for tenant-wise, they are enjoying the option and the price range and affordability from anything affordable, grade B, good location, non-CBD office, all the way to grade A prime location. So the option is just very wide for occupier. Fast forward to 2025, we are still expecting several more completion this year. Some notable completion here, especially in grade A, are the GDT Tower and FTB Tower. GDT Tower is one of the first government-owned building that are reaching the grade A standard. And FTB Tower is also another bank headquarters that again introducing grade A space. Just looking at again, I wouldn't go into a lot of numbers. I'm so conscious because Monty's slide is very visual, very beautiful with a lot of pictures, and mine mostly with number. But if you just pay a little attention, again, I want to highlight how drastically the supply in Phnom Penh has grown between 2019 to 2025. Again, it has grown by more than threefold. But if you ask me, looking into the regional data, this is not entirely a surprise for a developing market like Cambodia, especially when we come from a very low base. It's just that this supply happened quite rapidly in a short window of about 5 to 6 years, hence a lot of pressure on the landlord and hence compress the rent. I think it's also quite interesting when we break down the average occupancy across Phnom Penh, which I said was about 65%, into how does each grade and location perform. How would grade and location affect the performance in occupancy? So you can see in the top line here, grade A office, despite the huge influx of new supply in the last 6-7 years, we still see that their occupancy still outperform the city average as well as other grades that are not located in the CBD or have a less superior quality of offering. So just to say so much how the flight to quality trend really happening and still continue to happen in the last few years. In terms of rents, of course, there's no secret that when there's an influx of new supply, rent will be compressed. However, we still see that, just like Monty quoted our data earlier, asking rent for grade A office is still ranging between 21 to 30 and average at around 25. So it's still relatively positive. And actually, if you compare to other markets like Ho Chi Minh, Bangkok is still relatively affordable. My colleagues in Ho Chi Minh quoted recently that grade A office in Ho Chi Minh actually will go about $90, $60 to $90 per square meter, depend on the location and quality of the supply. And if some of you are located in Singapore, you understand that the magnitude of difference would be a lot more different. So this is just saying so much about the cost of operation in Cambodia. If you were to set up an office and operation in Cambodia, the affordability and choices are very wide. Now, this is my last slide, and I'd like to highlight some of the outlook that we are foreseeing. So earlier we have understand what have happened between 2008 and 2025, what have led us into here, and where are we going next. The first trend that we expect to see among office development is that the ESG component is becoming more and more commonly known and commonly asked. I'm not saying this because Odam has so much thought and initiation into ESG aspect, but this is the real case data that we have seen dealing with so many national, international tenants that in our office leasing team. ESG is almost one of the first criteria in their checklist when occupying new market, new office space. It's just that previously, not a lot of options available. As Monty present, currently in Phnom Penh, there are only two. Actually, there are only one completed LEED certified building, which is Wattana Tower, and when Odam complete, that will be the second. So you can see that the options of ESG is very limited. And however, we're also starting to see existing office development and who already completed, starting to revisit how they can change their building into qualify with the environmental and social requirement from tenant. But as you know, as a real estate, as a physical product, it's very difficult to make any changes once it's completed. So we have seen some of these buildings becoming less competitive, and it's just a matter of time when we see more proactive approach into new development, putting more effort in ESG, but also the conversion of the existing office building, which right now is about 10 to 15 years in operation, would need to be renovated. And it would, of course, create some obstruction in their operation, but it's the only way to stay competitive in the future market. Secondly, saving in operation would lead to long-term challenge. Specifically, is to reflect that in a challenging market like currently, when rent is suppressed, we've seen that some developer would go about, some cost reduction activity, including, reduction on maintenance, reduction on the care of the building, which we believe would cost them more in the future, because the property management aspect of the building is really important to preserve the long-term value of the building. Hence, as you can see earlier, when Odam, mentioned a lot about their experience in operating quality building, as well as continue the operation of the building, it's very important to retain the long-term value of not only the office building, but any kind of property, as we understand. Last but not least, tenant retention remains a top priority for most of the existing developers here. For the same reason as I mentioned earlier, the flight to quality is really happening and will continue to happen in the coming years as better and better quality supply will come into the market. So current landlord will need to work extra hard, double, triple hard to retain their current tenant. But like I said, it's a matter of time when they really need to rethink their offering, including the ESG aspect, so that it meet the tenant demand, but also to catch up with the competitor in the market. So with that, I'd like to conclude my short presentation on the office market, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Kim, please stay on stage.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Look, my thanks, of course, extend to our online audience. So thank you very much. And also to IPS Cambodia, who are here also, the team from REAKH, thank you for attending. And Bazanova from Russia, we certainly have a very international crowd. So please reach out to any of the agency or your preferred agency or any independents if you want to discuss further opportunity or have further questions. We're more than happy to help. So thank you, and all I can say based on all this information is that Cambodia is recovering, Cambodia is growing, and with all the infrastructure that is in place, with BYD coming in, Ritz-Carlton coming in, certainly it's a very prosperous future. Buy before it's too late. Stop sitting on the fence, take action, because when all the questions are answered, all the risks are removed, it's too late. So please call your preferred agent and discuss some opportunity regarding ODOM with us. For more information, QR code is there. Thank you all and have a great day. Those who are here, please stay and eat some food, drink some beer, drink some wine, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.